and then I will tell you how many suggestions there are,
Right.
and you just pick a number, and then
Okay.
we just go, and I'll look for an out to the scene around 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and then afterwards, I'd love to chat with you about if there's anything fun that came up in the scene, or like how you got into
Yeah.
improv, and just have a little
Yeah.
have.
And if you have just a few minutes to tell me a bit more about what you do, because actually, to be honest, I heard about you the first time just like recently during the lockdown. So I have only vague idea.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I've been
I would love to learn more about you and what you do. Yeah.
yeah. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to wait till after?
Let's do it after. Yeah.
Right. I love it. I love it. All right. So here, let's see. Here we go. Boom. I'm gonna. All right. Now we're titled. All right. Rock and roll. All right. Rock and roll, Yulia. We are. Yeah. Uh, love it. We have 31 suggestions.
Wow.
Yeah, so pick a number 1 to 31.
Well, our lucky number is seven. We did a show recently, and there was a winner of a prize numbered seven, and she was a great person. So I think that anything that has to do with seven is a lucky thing.
I love it. Our suggestion number 7 is from Kathleen,
Yeah.
and the suggestion is no dogs allowed.
Oh, but dogs are my favorite animal.
I
Okay.
know, I know, I know.
All right. No dogs allowed in this area.
I can't
How? I
believe
just
it. I can't believe it. This is bullshit.
Oh wow! I've just moved in. Thank you for being such a great neighbor and
Yeah.
listening to me ranting about it. But I will do my best to change my attitude. Cats are worthy animals too, and I will do my best to convert to cats.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes,
I think it's complete bullshit. They don't
really.
allow dogs in this apartment complex. I have a dog.
Ah,
Yeah,
you have a dog.
yeah. I said, fuck that rule. I don't care who you
Oh,
are. You can't tell me who I can and can't have. I have a dog. Her name is
yeah.
Pitsy. She's a pit bull, and she's very
She's a
quiet.
pit bull. No
Yeah,
way.
yeah. I have to take her out in a bag to go to the bathroom. So I have a gym bag, and I put her in the
Wow.
gym bag, and then I take her out, and I walk right past the doorman, and I don't say a word, and then I come back in. But I'm like, what kind of heartless, soulless person doesn't allow dogs?
Wow, wow, wow. So did it ever happen to you that you were carrying her in the back and she did like a little bit whoop, whoop,
Yeah,
and anybody noticed?
yeah. It happened once.
What did
It
you do?
happened. It happened once. So we were coming back in. I spent the whole day. We were at the park. There's a park 4 blocks down. Go down 4 blocks and then turn right 2 blocks. I think, yeah. So you go east 2 blocks, then south 2 blocks. So I guess you could go 2 blocks down and then over. The easiest way. Anyway, there's a park 6 blocks away. I had Pitsy in the bag. She loves playing fetch, so we played fetch at the park. She was beautiful. We were coming back in. I opened the door to get back into the apartment complex. I saw the doorman. I was like, "Hey, Hank!" And when I moved, her legs were so sore that she went.
Yes.
She let out a little yip, and Hank looked at me.
So dangerous. What could have happened to you if they figured you out?
Do you know what happens if they know? You
What
get kicked.
happened?
You get kicked out.
Yeah, and you lose all your mortgage and
Yeah.
everything just goes out.
Yeah, you lose everything. Like you don't get your deposit back. You don't get any of your
Yeah,
mortgage payments back. I mean, it's very
yeah.
strict. You get none of the
Yes,
money
yes,
back.
yes.
But
Yeah.
I can't live without my dog.
Yeah. So what happened when she said, "Look"?
So she goes, "Boop," and he looks at me because he was looking down. And then he looked up and I went, hello? I pretended it was my cell phone. So I
Oh,
pretended it was I go, that's my ringer. I
oh,
go,
okay.
Steve, that's my ringer. And he's like, oh, really cool. And I booked right to the elevator and I went up. But that was the only
Okay.
time. And I'll be honest,
Okay.
it was a bit of an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, I imagine. I imagine. I will get myself a dog too. I think a Siberian Husky because they're active and they like running around. And still, since there is a park 2 blocks away and to the right, I think I will also get this back. I will go check out this back and maybe I will get like several alarm rings so that when I pass through the security, I will turn them on and there will be like all alarm ringing when I pass them so that they don't hear the husky, right?
I love it. I mean, you just get a big old suitcase.
Yeah,
You put that
yeah,
dog in, and then when you come back in, it's like, ah, there she is. She's always listening to music. There's alarms on her phone. So then if any noise is made, it just
yeah.
blends in. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the system is dumb. They won't notice. It's not really noticeable. You just have a dog, and it could be like I'm just going out, meet my pals. I have my dog with me, and it's okay. I'm an active person. Something is moving, and an alarm is ringing. Nobody will figure out anything.
You're smart. You're
Yeah.
so like you've already got it planned out.
Thank
I
you. Thank you so much for telling me your story.
Yeah, I mean, I came down here and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get my mail, and I saw you, and I saw you come out of the manager's office, and I knew you're a dog person. I just know it. You just know where there are other
Yeah, I
dog
was
people.
crying when they told me about it. I was crying. I was ready to move back with my mom. Yeah,
No, what?
yeah, yeah. And
Although
what about the other neighbors? Do they all have cats, or are there any other rebels around? Any other insiders? Do you know if like everybody has the same idea, or it's just us
okay,
alone?
I got a three-part answer to that question.
Okay,
One, there are so many cats in this apartment building.
I see.
There are so
I
because
see.
cats are allowed. They've said they can't have any dogs because of insurance purposes, which I think is complete
I
bullshit. It's complete
I see.
bullshit.
I
But
see.
so there are so many fucking cats in this place, and cat, like you said, cats are worthy animals, and I'll just leave it at that. Worthy is a great term. Cats are worthy animals. They're not dogs. I think in the scheme of things, it goes dogs,
Yes.
rabbits for
Yes.
pets, turtles, cats. Like cats are top four, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Exactly.
there are so many, like it seems like every apartment has an animal of some sort, but
Hmm.
there's a secret group of us, dog owners, in this building. You gotta be, you gotta be recommended. Somebody's gotta vouch for you to get into that group. I'm,
Okay.
I'm willing to vouch for you if you want to be part of the secret dog group of the apartment building. There's you can actually there's a set of tunnels at the basement that go.
Right.
It's the boiler room, and then behind the boiler room. So if you want to avoid the front desk, I'll show you in the boiler room where you can go. There's actually a dummy boiler that isn't working right now that you just push to the side, and then it leads you out right 2 blocks from the park. And then when
Yeah,
you
I
get there,
want
it's
to
2 blocks.
enter. Yes. Yes.
But you got but you have like it's there is this whole ceremony thing because it's we want to make sure that this nobody ever finds out about this because if they
Mm.
find out, like I said, then you're going to lose all your money and you're going to be kicked out of the apartment and
Yeah.
you're going to have to move home with a relative. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Because when you sign the lease, if you get kicked out, you can't go to another apartment. You got to move in with a relative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. well, I will wear a t-shirt
Yeah.
with cats, like with red crosses over cats' faces, just to show my loyalty to the movement.
Yes.
And
Yes.
uh,
You were gonna.
then maybe. Mhm.
No, no. You were gonna say more.
Well, yeah, yeah. I just really want to prove that I belong. I also have a dog-shaped purse and dog-shaped slippers. So maybe if I wear all of this at once, they will see who I am and will trust me.
they'll see who you are, but they won't really see who you are because you're a dog person. They'll see who you are, but not who you are. Yeah, you. Hey, welcome to the club.
Thanks for letting me.
I'm gonna write down here. I'm gonna show you this. Okay. This is this is when we're meeting and where we're meeting.
Yeah.
You got it? Now I've got to get rid of the evidence. Scene! Oh, yeah! Oh,
High five.
high five. Anybody who's willing to eat paper with me,
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, my, that was, thank you so much. That was awesome. You're so fun to play with.
Thank you. I enjoyed every minute of it. Thank
How,
you.
how did you get into improv? Like, what made you start taking classes or doing shows?
Well, um, I was a Fulbrighter in the US years ago,
Uh huh.
and I heard some people speaking on campus about improv group, and I was too scared to join. I thought it was only for the smartest and the brightest people, so I didn't even dare to go there to join. But I saw them perform once, and I thought maybe one day when I
Wait,
get a bit smarter like those cool people. And then years after, I felt confident enough to seek out an improv group here in Moscow. So this is how it.
well, let me ask you this. You said Fulbrighter, so you were a Fulbright scholar.
Well, my program was called FLTA. It's like language teaching fellow. So I was teaching my first language and learning psychology. Yeah.
Great. Even more to my point. Then you doing that, you thought to yourself, well, I'm not smart enough to be
Yeah.
an improviser.
No, like for me, improvisers are just like gods, you know? It's like
Wow.
doing things on the spot. I thought, wow, how like intelligent you should be. And then I realized it's more like about the attitude rather than intelligence and
Yes.
just and like the attitude beats all, like really.
I mean, I think that's a great way to put it. Like you're really even if you're looking at characters and scenes, you're really looking at attitudes of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it. And having that attitude and like I'm still laughing the fact of how smart you are, and you're like, "Well, I'm not as smart as an as an improviser." Like,
No, I
okay.
thought it's like no, it's just like way, 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 way beyond. Yeah.
So then you heard about it, and what made you take the leap from "Oh, that okay, I know about it" to "I'm gonna do it"? And was it like I'm gonna take a class the next day you signed up, or was it I'm gonna take a class then 6 months went by?
Um, I think I was just like at that point of my life when I was too fed up putting off decisions. Like I started like saying, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna do. Like, and I went to the gym and I started doing other things I was not comfortable with doing. And then gradually, when you put yourself out of the comfort zone, you develop the habit of being uncomfortable, being foolish in a new place. And then it just like each new thing gets easier and easier a bit. I mean, it still might be uncomfortable at times, but you just don't mind it, and you understand that the advantages of it far outweigh the initial discomfort you might feel.
Wow, yeah, you become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Kind of, yeah, yeah.
Wow, and like, I mean, isn't it where you grow the most is where you're out of that comfort zone and it's
Well,
scary?
I hope so. It's hard to judge when you are on the inside, but I hope so. But it's fun for sure.
And how did you, so you were studying in the US, you took some improv and then you went back, now you're back in Moscow, and how easy
Yeah,
was it to
and a few years went by, and then I just started taking an improv class. Yes, yeah. And then I met Josh, who you improvised with from Improv Generator, and other people. And then during the lockdown this spring, it was easier to meet other international people. So it's like,
Yeah, Josh
yeah,
Wilson is has been kind of heading up or starting helping to build the scene in Moscow, and he's great. And
yeah.
Franny as well. I know she's a part of it there too, and she's
Graham, yes, yes, yeah.
um, and are you doing a lot of online performing now? Like, do you find that you're doing more like online stuff, or is it about equal to when there was just in person improv?
Well, at the beginning of the year, I was doing only offline. Then from the spring, it moved just online. Yeah,
And
and for now, offline classes have not resumed in Moscow yet. So it's
okay.
just online for now. Yeah.
And are you hopping into like do you have a regular show you do or are you hopping into jams or like how are you improvising online?
That's an interesting question. I will try to be succinct and informative, but it will be hard to because it went through different stages.
Cool.
So at the beginning, like when the lockdown just started and offline activities stopped, I was taking part in Josh's jams and Barcelona people's jams.
Yeah.
Then, after a week, I realized that I want to work on a specific thing that they were not necessarily focusing on, and I wanted to learn UCB style exercises, like finding the game. So I took the book with the manual that I purchased a year ago. I started reading it and I posted in a few groups that I want to do a Sunday thing and I invite everybody who's interested in joining. So I did a couple of that. Then I realized that yes, it's nice, but it's nice to have some commitment and work towards a goal with like a committed group. And first, I started improvising with one guy from Sweden. His name is Stefan Andersson.
Mm.
We did a few sessions. It was like more targeted and more committed, and I think I got more out of it. And then I wanted to do a show. So we built a group of 6 people, and we were training weekly for a Herald show, and we created this group a big deal. And this weekend we did the show, which was also a fundraising campaign. I will send you the link
Yeah.
to have a look. And that was the end, like this weekend. And now I was just relaxing and doing nothing and received a message from you.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I reached out because we're Facebook friends and we have friends in common.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I had seen you, I think I saw you post something and I was like, oh, I like that post. Or you commented on something and I was like,
Oh,
oh, cool. Let's see. I know you know, okay, you know Josh. Okay, great. So let's just see because we had never talked in person before
right,
this.
right. What about you? What do you do?
Well, yeah, I got classes from my parents back in the 1990s to take improv, and I started taking improv and loved it and uh,
Mhm.
continued to do it. And then when the pandemic hit and things were locked down, I said, okay, it's either stop improvising or learn how to use this technology to improvise. And so I was teaching for a theater called Second City, and they were doing.
Oh, in Chicago.
I taught in Chicago for a long time. Then when I moved, now I'm in LA, so I taught for the Second City out here in LA.
Oh, wow, cool.
And so and I also taught for when I grew up in Chicago and I was there until 5 years ago. And so I taught like I taught at IO in Chicago, and so I was versed on the Herald and long form. And then I taught for Comedy Sports, and I did short form, and I taught for Second City, and then I moved out here. And when the pandemic hit, they're like, we're gonna basically take a week off and continue classes online. So I said, I got to jump in then to figure this out 100%. I got to figure out how to do online improv. I got to figure out how to teach it. I got to figure out how to perform it. So I right away was like, I'm on board. And so I just then said, what an opportunity to reach people I haven't played with in a while, people I love playing with, and people like you who it's like, we've never played together. Unless we're in the same city, it would be very hard. So why don't I just start reaching out to people to see if they wanted to do these online shows, and let's make it, you know, 10 minutes, and
Yeah.
then keep it real short, and then afterwards get to know people or find their journeys. And I found it very satisfying, to be honest. Like the fact I can improvise, you're in Moscow, I'm in LA.
Yeah.
I can improvise with someone in Bangalore. I can
Yeah.
improvise with someone in Sweden, someone in
Yeah.
Chicago, friends in LA who I don't get to play with. So to me, I look at it as like a huge silver lining in everything that's happening.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So it's actually your full-time thing, improv. It's not like a side. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
I also do. I use improv philosophies and skills to teach in a corporate setting too. So I'll do like communication workshops, or workshops on embracing failure or empathy or becoming a better, stronger team. So I do, in addition to teaching my own private classes for like students and performers, I also go into businesses virtually now, and lead workshops that way. So I'm very lucky that like what I'm
The
doing,
response.
it's all, yeah, it's all improv based.
Nice. And what's the response? Are people interested, or it takes time to convince them that it's not a fringe thing, but actually a productive, useful skill to learn? What's the
I
perception?
I think it's both. I think some people are very hesitant. I think some performers are very hesitant. Some improvisers, some veteran improvisers are very hesitant to do online stuff. I
Uh-huh.
think there are other people as well, but a lot of the skills that you talk about in improv can be used virtually. And I think once people realize, oh, this isn't going away soon,
Hmm.
then they bought into it more to be like, okay, now this is the option we have. We don't have another option. So let's figure out how to continue to move forward with the restrictions of not being in person. So I think people are starting to embrace it more and more. And I think when things get back to a sense of like what we're familiar with, it's still
Yeah.
going to be here. I think online improv is here to stay. I think
Yeah.
it's been talked about for a long time,
Yes.
but because of the necessity now, we had
Yeah.
no choice. So now it's become practice.
Yeah. Nice.
Are you are you teaching improv at all or just performing?
No, that's actually like, I don't know, maybe 7% of my time. It's a hobby for me. I'm not like really fully involved on day-to-day
Mm.
basis. So no, I've never taught an improv class. Yeah. But I do have experience in teaching languages. Like initially, I'm a language teacher, and now turning into sort of an entrepreneur, trying to pack these English for specific purposes courses into something more systematic and scalable. So I'm an English teacher on an entrepreneurial journey. Yes.
Well, then you know you are a performer when you're teaching, right? You are. When you're a teacher, you're performing. You're playing a character, performing a different role. So,
For sure.
well, if you ever uh, if there's an opportunity, I would say, man, I think you've got a great skill set, and to teach a workshop or something. I'm always like, for people who especially have a background in teaching, which a lot of improv teachers don't have. So you're already ahead of the game because you've been a teacher, so you know how to manage a classroom. I think it's always great to have people offer their points of view on improv and things, teaching things that they like to do too. So.
Yeah. Well, I find improv like personally fulfilling on many levels. So
It's
I'm proud.
true, right?
Yeah,
It's good for life skills, not just stage stuff. It's good for life.
for sure. This is how I like approach it, like mostly as a thing for myself. And yeah, it actually I can see the effects. It helps in daily life. You just get like more comfortable with decisions, less anxious.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Comfortable with the
I mean,
uncomfortable.
it sounds like a mantra because everybody repeats it and it's like blah, 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 just talk, talk. But it's actually, you can feel it, right?
Yeah. And you said it. You get comfortable with the uncomfortable, and that's, if nothing else, that skill, if everybody had that skill, oof,
So helpful, right?
yeah,
It's so helpful.
it's so helpful. Where can people, if they want to follow you, or like, like you said, you were doing a show, or if they want to see that, what's the best way for people to do that online? Like,
Well, you can reach me out on Facebook. I'm Yulia Beymlina, and you can check out a Big Deal page. This is the group that put together a show, and you can still see the recordings of our Herald there. So welcome.
well, I am going to watch that. I can't wait to see it. I had so much fun with you. Thank you so much for playing with me.
Thank you very much for inviting. It was my pleasure.
And I can't wait till we play again, whether it's in person or virtual.
For sure. For sure.
Bye, Yulia.
Bye bye.